Thank you. Councillors, members of the gallery and staff, I'd like to welcome everybody to this Armidale Regional Council meeting of 26 April 2023. I'd like to call upon Councillor Gadders to provide the civic affirmation.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. We, the councillors of the Armidale region, declare that we will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of our community and faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in us to the best of our skill and judgment.
Thank you, Councillor Gadders, and Councillor Robinson to provide an acknowledgement of country.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. The Armidale regional community pays tribute to their love of land, love of people and love of culture.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Could I call upon the General Manager to provide a statement regarding live streaming?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. This meeting is being audio and video recorded, and the recordings of the non-confidential parts of the meeting will be made available on the internet. No other persons are permitted to record the meeting unless specifically authorised by Council to do so, and could all mobile phones please be set to silent. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr General Manager. Councillors, I've received two apologies for this meeting, Councillors McMichael and O'Brien, so they won't be joining us, and I note that Deputy Mayor Councillor Redwood is joining us via Zoom from Atlanta. So if he speaks, there will be a twang. Something for us to all enjoy. Councillors, having reviewed the agenda, do any of you need to declare a conflict of interest?
Yep. For item number, where is it? 11.1, based on the code of conduct. And the conflict of interest and all that sort of stuff. The perception of a conflict of interest is there, so I'll leave the room for that one. So,
thank you. Okay, thank you, Councillor Witters. Councillors, the next item is item 5.1, which is the confirmation of the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on 22nd of March 2023. Could I call for a mover to note those minutes? Thank you, Councillor Galletley, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Gadders. Any comment or discussion, Councillor Galletley? Councillor Gadders? No, let's put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. And Councillor Redwood, I declare that carried unanimously. Councillors, we don't have a mayoral minute this month, but we do have at item 7.1, the Council Actions Report. So this report summarises the actions taken on resolutions of Council for the period January 2022 to March 23. Council is asked to note the report. Details are from page 7 of the agenda and page 15 of the attachments. Can I have a mover for the recommendation on the screen? Thank you, Councillor Robinson, and seconded by Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Robinson, anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, I would actually like at the same time to ask a question on notice, if that's possible, because it seems that every other avenue to get the information seems to have been about a council resolution in November 2022, which was item 22622, which was simply to display both the Renewable Energy Action Plan, which is an important environmental initiative, and the community submissions on the environmental section of the council's website, which hasn't yet happened, and it contains some really, really useful information, and it would be really, really good if it could be easy to find. And I mentioned this at the February meeting, or at least after this February meeting, I actually submitted a request via Council Direct for it, and I haven't seen, and that was 2 months ago, and I haven't seen any response yet. I also asked at the pre-March briefing and was promised it would happen, but as far as I know it happened. And I also believe Councillor Packham provided some information about incompleteness of the council action reports at the same time. So hopefully these issues have now been raised, and now they're being raised again, maybe they will be sorted out.
Councillor Robinson, we'll pick that up at the items 14.
Yeah.
You've got a question on notice there. I've made
Yeah.
a note that you'll pop this up. You already have one.
Yeah, so that was all I wanted to say, is that now by asking question here, now hopefully it will be sorted out. So thanks very much, and I'm happy to move the motion.
Thank you. Councillor O'Connor as our seconder, anything to say?
No, I support Councillor Robinson's comments. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, councillors, let's put this to a vote. All those in favour of accepting the motion on the screen, thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. The next item is item 8.1, which is the debt recovery policy and hardship policy. So both these policies have been reviewed and developed in conjunction with the Liverpool Region Key Pillar Working Group. This review has been undertaken as part of the special rate variation process with a view to making the policies more user-friendly and ensure ratepayers are supported where needed. It's my view that this review is sorely needed, and I thank Councillors O'Brien and Councillor Galletley for their work on this, along with the relevant ARC staff. Details of the policy are from page 8 of the agenda and 41 of the attachment, and we are going to need an amendment up there because it will need to go on public display. So, Councillor Galletley. Yes.
Can I move the amendment, please, to put that amendment in?
Certainly.
And I'll need a seconder to do that. Would be good. Thank you.
So, if that amendment can read, that item, if B can be changed to display the debt recovery and hardship policy, or place it on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, and then receive a report of any feedback following that exhibition period. A further report at the conclusion of the exhibition period. So,
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Thank you, Councillor Galletley. So Councillor Galletley's moved that one. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Galletley, would you like to say a few words about
this document that we put up, and I thank our Chief Financial Officer. She's worked very hard with this, and we've done a bit of cruise around and finding out a lot more about how this works. We've got a little bit of a list for things that they can do. Well, the people with their hardship, the things that they can, places they can go to get help with it other than us, and we will probably be the end of the line sort of thing. And yeah, there's been look. At the end of the day, it's all down here written. We've got it all down here in writing. So I think it's a good policy. It's a living document. We'll get it out to the public, see what they've got to say about it, and if we need tweaking a little bit more, we can. And there's bits and pieces we can add down the track anyway. But once again I thank Anne Newsom very much for putting this together. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Galletley. Councillor Robinson.
Yeah, I think this is a really important policy, especially in the light of the special rates variation. And I was really, really heartened to see a copy of a presentation that the Chief Financial Officer provided to us, which was presented to council staff by Roo Cooper, because that included several really positive examples of how appropriate assistance and financial counselling can provide a great deal of help and support. And this report to council also mentions our hardship support page. So I do wonder if we could actually at least provide some of this information on that excellent Roo Cooper presentation on our hardship page. And also, while I was looking at the hardship page, I did notice that one of the first things before it mentioned how to get financial counselling was a link to our policies and charges. And maybe we could put that the other way around. On the hardship page, show the links to the counselling first and make sure that people see them. And then if we really want to tell people what the costs and fees and charges are, put that at the bottom. But otherwise, yes, I'll be looking forward to seeing what the public thinks of this and whether we can make it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Any other councillors wish to comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, are we voting to the amendment, or are we just?
Oh, well, it's not
Just
an
taking it
amendment, it's what's on the
It's
screen.
just amendment. Thank you.
Yep.
So I just have a comment or a desirous statement, as it were. I'd like to encourage council to consider initiatives through passive income or philanthropic pursuits from the community to support the hardship policy at the end, rather than necessarily be writing things off. Perhaps we can find other ways of supporting those in hardship as it comes under the policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor O'Connor.
Has there been any assessment done of what this may cost? Because there's now talk of, full write-offs. So has there been any work done on that aspect?
I will defer to our Chief Financial Officer. Councillor O'Connor, if you could.
Oh, yep, sorry.
Through the Mayor, we're limited in write-offs under the restrictions of the Act. What there is the possibility of deferring rates, because rates are a debt on the land, and having some forgiveness around interest. So it's about how we manage people's hardship situations, both those people who approach us directly or those who are in circumstances where they're not comfortable to approach council directly. But the write-offs are limited by what's available under the Act.
Thank you. So I guess to answer your question directly, no, there hasn't been an assessment as to what the actual cost will be, because I guess there's unknowns as to the actual impact when an SRV comes in, and we go from there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Councillor Widders.
Yeah, just I think this is a good idea. To anyone that really is under hardship and really is putting in their best effort to pay any debts or any bills or anything else like that, and is really struggling but really putting in a good effort, I think needs the support that they can get. One thing I'd hope not to see, and I have seen this in my time on council, is that organisations or individuals try to game the system to get out of debt payments, or they have some mates that can help them out with that and write things off when they shouldn't be written off or things like that. So hopefully the intended people and the intended organisations that this is in for, it really works for them, and those that want to game the system pay their bills.
Thank you. All right, councillors, before we put it to a vote, it's clear from the discussion that we are all, acutely aware of, rising costs and councils, costs going up as well, and the contribution council might make to household budgetary pressures. So I'm really heartened about this policy. I'm really heartened that we had a look at it. I'm heartened that there's a real pathway for people, and if we can make it more we will make it more transparent per some of the comments of Councillor Robinson, so that people can see it. I think this is a great outcome. So could we put it to a vote? All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. The next item on the agenda is item 9.1, and we've just received the Have Your Say discussion. So this is a result of following a period of public exhibition of two leash-free areas in Guyra. We have a recommendation to proceed with one of those leash-free areas in South Guyra, and we'll see some details are on page 12 of the agenda and 54 of the attachments. There is a recommendation on the screen where council is being asked to note the submissions received, endorse a lot in South Guyra as a leash-free area, and then receive a further report as to the need for a second leash-free area in Guyra once the first one has been established for a minimum of 12 months. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Mepham, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Mepham, anything you'd like to say around this?
Yeah, I strongly support the idea of building one down in South Guyra and then reviewing that for 12 months to see how much it's utilised. I have serious questions as to whether two would ever be required in Guyra, but should we find it has a high use, we can certainly go back and have a look in 12 months' time as to whether we build another one and where that should be. I probably endorse Phil's comments and the rest of the community about Holt's Park not being overly suitable for a second one, but that's down the track when we come back and have a look how South Gyra has been utilised. South Gyra is a big block with no houses on that block itself. Most of the residents are a good distance off. There is a playground there as well for children to play while the dogs are on the run. So, yeah, I think it's the obvious and logical place to go. So I support the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Mepham. Councillor O'Connor.
Thank you. Yeah, I support the motion, and I congratulate Council on being responsive to the community expression of concern about the second one on Bull Blair Street. I just want to reiterate what I said previously in the briefing session, and that is I'm wondering if Council could consider amending the design of the access to all our dog leash areas, to be honest, because a lot of the people that actually need a dog leash area are people who are either frail-aged and can't walk their dogs or have some kind of disability, and such a case has been brought to me, and the dogs actually do tend to rush at the gate when another dog joins the gang, and it's actually quite hard without a double gate system to safely enter and leave a single gated dog leash area. So might be a slightly bigger expense, but not much if it's done in the original design. So I would hope that Council might take this as an action arising from our debate today.
Thank you, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Packham. Councillor
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It might be a question, and perhaps directed to Councillor Mepham if he doesn't mind answering. Is it fair to say that the showground is considered an unregulated off-leash area at the moment?
Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Mepham.
There are a lot of people that travel to the showground daily to walk their dogs, and I've seen people doing that. My understanding is it's not a preferred option of council. They don't want people necessarily utilising the place unattended because of other infrastructure, but it is currently utilised.
Thank you. Right. Okay, councillors, if there's no further comment, let's put this to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Item 9.2 is a public exhibition of the conflict of interest policy for council-related development applications. So the report is seeking council's endorsement to place on public exhibition a draft conflict of interest policy for those council-related development applications. We have details page 16 of the agenda and page 58 of the attachments. There is a recommendation on the screen. Can I have a mover for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Robinson. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Witters. Councillor Robinson, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm happy to put it on public exhibition. I did find it quite hard to read, and if I didn't know what it meant, then I think some people might not understand it at all, but let's see what the public make of it. It is something where it's a statutory requirement, and maybe it's just not, because it's not going to be used all that often, maybe it's not worth even trying to rewrite it. So let's see what the public think. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Witters.
Yeah, just endorse what Councillor Robinson said for the moment.
All right. Councillors, any other comment? Let's put that to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. All right. Item 10.1 relates to the integrated planning and reporting documents, specifically the delivery program and operational program, a progress report of both those programs. We have details on page 19 of the agenda and 65 of the attachments. So the reports provide council with an update as to where we're at. We're asked to note the status of both plans as at the 30th of March 2023. Can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Packham, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor O'Connor. You got to win. Councillor Packham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Mr Mayor, the report is certainly comprehensive and certainly indicative of the capacity of council to deliver and its status is fairly reflected there. As I had commented to my colleagues during the week, I think it's an extreme body of work that is stretching the organisation, and I applaud the organisation for even attempting this amount of work given the resources that we currently have. But as for the status, that's where it is, and I'm happy to receive the report.
Thank you. Councillor O'Connor.
Yeah, I don't have any comment other than that it's important not to do things that are unpopular, but it's good to have a transparent view that this provides. So, yeah, I support it on that basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillors, anything to add? Councillor Robinson, Councillor O'Connor, you'll have to finish that.
I would just like, it would be good possibly to have a supplementary report and some time on the issues that are behind schedule and whether we can do anything to fix up the problems, even though I realise there is a big difficulty with resources. Some of them might be easy to do and would be good to have more wins on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, if there are no further comments, let's put that to the vote. All those in favour of noting the report? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. We're now at item 11.1. Councillor Witters will be leaving the room. Okay, so item 11.1 is a request to waive fees. So council is being asked to waive the fees for the supply and delivery of gravel for the Nawara Aboriginal Corporation. And the request is for 360 cubic metres of gravel to construct an unsealed road on their recently acquired property west of Armidale. Details of this are on page 22 of the agenda and 147 of the attachments. Can I have a mover for this? Thank you, Councillor O'Connor, and Councillor Robinson, you can be the seconder. Councillor O'Connor.
Yes, I support this. I think that it's not a huge amount for council to indicate their support, and the reason I moved the motion in one sense was to let anybody who's watching this and the council know that the Nawara Corporation is already doing training on that block, and in fact some training happened on Monday for some school teachers, so it's already serving a much wider than a private purpose. And I understand the access is very dodgy, especially for buses and things like that, so the upgrade is really needed. And I might add that given that Nawara is the recipient, I guess, if this passes, of community support, it will be incumbent on them to make sure that what happens on the block is good.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Robinson.
It's a good initiative and it will help the community help themselves, so it's a win-win outcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, any other comment? Let's put it to a vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that motion carried with. Thanks, Mark. Welcome back, Councillor Witters. All right, item 11.2 is relates to the public exhibition of gates and stock grids on public roads policy. So there is a need to harmonise the policy of grids and gates on public roads of the former Armidale-Jumeric Shire and the Guyra Shire. There's already been a degree of community consultation around this that was undertaken in 2021 and a delay in its implementation. The item is back before Council following a resolution from June 2022. Details of this are on page 25 of the agenda and 149 of the attachment, and there is a tweet motion on the screen. Could I ask for a mover? Thank you, Councillor Gadders, and a seconder, Councillor Packham. Councillor Gadders, any words?
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. I wanted to support the amendment that is currently on screen. This is obviously a very important issue for many people in the region. I think it's a great opportunity for us to put the policy on exhibition, make sure we gain people's additional feedback. But ultimately, this is something that we need to resolve. So as part of the process, we can do in parallel here while this is on public exhibition, we'll also have our Connected Region Key Pillar Working Group, beavering away and working on this at the same time, so we actually have a resolution soon. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gaddis. Councillor Packham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Echo the sentiments that Councillor Gaddis has put forward. I think this is headed in the right direction. I think the amendment is worthy of the broader consideration by the Connected Key Pillar Working Group, and at the same time get up-to-date feedback from the public in conjunction with efforts to go forward and to finalise a policy that makes sense for everyone, that's workable and achievable and can be resourced. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Great, thank you. Councillor Witters.
Got a question around the process of the amendment. It says that the amendment, concurrent community engagement. So I'm assuming that'll be for 28 days, that it's out on public exhibition as well?
No, not necessarily.
Well, how long's the community engagement going to be running for?
Well, at least the 28 days gives us a bit of an anchor, not to stray too far from. So I think with regular updates from that key pillar group, we need to keep that in check. But I acknowledge your concern. I'd be a little bit hesitant to put a ring around that specifically, because 28 days to me doesn't seem sufficient to go out and hold, genuine on the ground engagement.
Which comes to my second point of note that this was originally around in 2021. I think you said.
Yes.
So this is like 2 years later. Like, what sort of time frame do we have on this is the final thing, let's make a decision from there? Are we putting a time frame on that, or are we just going to come back in 6 months and say, we need more engagement? Is there an actual finish point to this thing or not?
Well, you can read as well as I can. So on the screen there, it is open. If you'd like to put a hard stop date on it, you can certainly put that up as an amendment. But I think as a group of councillors, we're all very conscious of the history to get where we are, and we certainly would not want to kick that can down the road any further.
Oh, sorry, Paul. So maybe if the Connected Region are dealing with this, maybe they can, whoever's on the Connected Region, I'm not real sure at the moment, maybe they can come up with a final date on when they want to bring something back to the council.
I'm sure they will. Councillor Packard.
Mr Mayor, thank you. I'd just like to add something there. In our resolution in the meeting of June last year, we agreed to knock this down for 12 months. So we're at April, we've got May, June. Yeah. So I'm trying to work within 28 days for public consultation and Connected Region to connect the dots and then potentially have something ready for the end of June. But that would be my desire, and that's where I think we're still on track with it. We're still within the original 12 months that we set ourselves in June last year.
Yep. Thank you, Councillor Packham. That's a great clarification. Councillor Gillette.
I'd just like to put my little 20 cents worth in, and this is probably just the advantage of people that haven't been brought up in the country and wonder a little bit about this. Originally we had all gates, obviously, before we had cars and stuff. But then we got these ramps in which were built roughly, and they might have been out of timber, and then a bit of water pipe welded up, and that was getting pretty flash. And now we've come out of the Freddie Flintstone days, and now we've got this. I did a little bit of digging around to find, and you can have your domestic ramps that you're using in your private property area where there's just probably cars and then a lot of trucks carrying over them. They're a charge of about $3,800 retail to buy one of them, and then you've got to put it in. Your one that's under the Public Roads Act, which is under the Roads and Maritime, whatever, you're looking at about $5,500 to buy one of them, which can handle your B-doubles and your big cattle trucks and all that sort of stuff. So, and putting one of those in at the end of the day could cost double that when you put footings in, and then you've got your all your road work coming up to it, your approaches and whatever. But so this is a bit of a cost, but it's something that is needed in this area to get all of this up to scratch, because whenever we drive on dirt roads, no matter what, I think the ramps are the parts that are the problem. I think the landowners at this particular time, look, none of us want to put our hands in our pocket for something that we say, well, everyone else uses. And in a lot of cases, and Councillor Packham is right in mentioning a couple of things earlier on in a couple of meetings about roads that are used by the public a lot more than what they're used by the locals. But it's a pretty hard one to keep all happy. But I do think, and looking back, probably with our merger with Guyra, seeing we've got different policies either side, and merging with Guyra and trying to get this same policy, I believe this should have been done under the administrator probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And I actually believe that it was fairly negligent of our last council not to take this by the horns and get it out of the way in the first 4 years of our amalgamated council. This has to be got stuck into. We're not going to keep everyone happy, but we've got to get in. We've got to find out what they want. No one's going to be happy about it, because it can cost up to, as I said, it can cost up to probably $12,000 or $13,000 a ramp. But I don't think it's fair that the ratepayers of the full ratepayers of Armidale, even though the landowners most definitely pay a lot of rates and they don't get much for it, but the fellas in town that are sitting in town, I don't think they need to be hit that hard either. So it's a bit of a hard pill anyway. I've had me a little bit of a rave, and I've done me 3 minutes 30, which is a lot for me to talk. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
That was 3 minutes and 30 of wisdom. We're all richer for it.
Maybe not all.
Okay, councillors, if there's nothing further, let's put this to a vote per the motion on the screen. Oh, okay.
I was just going to say I'm the richer for it.
Oh, okay. Noted. Let's put it to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. Right, this brings us to, there were no notices of motion received for this April meeting. The committee reports. We have a number of committee reports in here. The first one is the Sports Council, where council is being asked to note the minutes and note the committee's agreement to commit $4,900 to rectify drainage in front of the grandstand at Moran Oval. Details of this are on page 31 of the agenda and 212 of the attachments. Can I have a mover? Thanks, Councillor Galletley. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Mepham. Anything to say there, Councillor Galletley?
No, we're taking along well. We've had a little bit of a shuffle around in our sports administrating sort of part of it. But I think we're going really well. It's a happy camp to work with, and yes, we seem to be kicking goals, and we're lucky that we've got such a good group working on it. We've got such good grounds in Armidale that get all these sporting functions going. So, cheers to all the representatives. It's been good.
Thank you. Councillors, if there's no other comment, let's put it to a vote. All those in favour of noting the minutes and the agreement, I declare that one carried unanimously. The next item up is item 13.2, which is the Access Advisory Committee, of which Councillor McMichael sits, and she's an apology today. Oh, you're on it as well, Councillor Thompson. This is my mistake. Note it down. Council's being asked to note the minutes of the Access Advisory Committee, details page 35 of the agenda and 217 of the attachments. So can I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Witters. The seconder, thank you, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Witters, anything to add? No?
No, it's all readable.
Great, thank you. Councillor O'Connor? No? All right, let's put this to a vote. All those in favour of noting those minutes? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. We'll do items 13.3 and 13.5 together. These relate to the Traffic Advisory Committee. We have minutes of 7th of March and the 4th of April. Again, where council is asked to note the minutes, and the details are in both the agenda and the attachments. Do I have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Witters. A seconder. Thank you, Councillor Gilletley. Any comment?
Now got a new bug.
Oh.
The lights at North Hill are no longer my problem, but coming across Markham Street to get to a council meeting at 3:30 from the western side of town can be a bit of an issue. So on council days, can we put lights there so I can get through in on time? Thanks. But otherwise, no. Any intersection on Markham Street at school home time, you're there for a month. So it's we need some lights there at that time of the day.
Thank you, Councillor Witters. We'll look into options there, from police outriders through to lights to anything. I know that they can do it for Dick Cheney when he comes to town, just to make everything green. To get you in would be great. All right, councillors. Sorry, Councillor O'Connor.
Oh, no, sorry.
Okay. All right. Councillors, can we put this to a vote, just noting those minutes as well as Councillor Witters' concerns? I declare that carried unanimously. Thank you. And then we'll jump back to item 3.4, which is the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee minutes of the 7th of March 2020. 13.4. Thank you, Councillor Robinson. I'm glad you were awake. 13.4, the minutes of 7th of March. Thank you, Councillor O'Connor is going to move noting those minutes, and seconded by Councillor Gadders. Councillor O'Connor.
Oh, thanks. Yes, look, I don't want to say anything other than the General Manager has suggested that we might have an offline meeting just to tweak some of the functionality of this committee, and I'm looking forward to that. But happy to simply move that we note these minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Connor. Councillor Gadders. No, thanks. Nothing there. Councillors, any comments to make? Let's put that to a vote. All those in favour of noting the minutes, thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. We now have we had one notice of motion and then a late addition during the meeting. So item 14.1 was a notice of motion put forward by Councillor Robinson, which was a question on notice, and where Council is being asked to note, in this instance, Council is being asked to note the response to Councillor Robinson's request for detail around water usage. So Councillor Robinson can move it. Anyone to second that? Thank you, Councillor Packham. Councillor Robinson, do you want to speak to your...
No, this when it finally comes will be really, really important information to make some good decisions about our future. So I hope it comes as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Packham.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm questioning that we've deferred this responding to...
No,
isn't that where we went the other day?
No, the question put in by Councillor Robinson was just about usage for each sort of 10 litres of water. Given the timing of the receipt of that question, they weren't able to respond in time for the meeting. But my understanding is that information will be forthcoming in the next week or so.
So that's the response. Yep.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
Great, thank you.
Just got a question on that. Just reading the last bit of it. Please also summarise usage of untreated water, estimated losses from leaking supply pipes, and usage on parks and gardens. Noted that the response will be coming next week. But in that response, can we have something along the lines of noting the long-term weather forecast, council's plans maybe on when it water security and its plans on getting that information out to the community a little bit earlier, if needed, if we have to go to level 1 or level 2 or level 3, just over the next... Yeah, long-range forecast, because the long-range forecast is not a lot of rain for a while. So if something on that can be maybe put on that might be good.
I just wonder, Councillor Witters, if you're best speaking with Chief Officer Manners about, specifics of what you'd like, just offline about that. Thank you. All right.
Is offline the new cool thing? Like, what does that mean? Just outside?
It's actually old. If you're getting on board now, you've kind of missed.
It's like maybe I'm a boomer and I'm not into those sort of things. I don't know.
No. They do. I think if we do need anything, the coolest term is the bleeding edge, which is sharper than the leading edge. Anyway. Yes. Councillors, you'd think we've been going for hours. Let's put this to a vote. All in favour of noting that response? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously. And then a second question on notice, and it's probably more just noting your question, Councillor Robinson, if you could be, that you spoke about right at the start. Do you care to just...
I'll move that.
You'll move that. Okay. We might just need a couple of bullet points as to what that is.
Yeah, well, the bullet point will simply be resolution in the I think it was November 20, resolution 222/22, but I can't remember the number. My computer's gone off. But
thank you.
But I can specify that, and
I've had a whisper from the right,
and then just see when the action's going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. So we've moved that. Someone to second. I think Councillor O'Connor. All those in favour of executive exploring? Thank you. I declare that carried. Those against? I declare it carried unanimously. Thank you. Councillors, that brings us to the end of the open session of the meeting. Thank you. And I'd like to move into a closed session. So can I please have a motion to move into a closed session? Thank you, and if resolved, we will. Councillor Gadders has moved it. Councillor Galletley has seconded it. All those in favour? Thank you. I declare that carried unanimously, and we will move into closed session. All right, I welcome councillors back into the open session and ask the General Manager to read out the resolutions of the closed session.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. 5 items in closed session this evening. Item 15.1, the engagement of a contractor, construction of the Bakers, Burralong and Laura Creek bridges. Resolved by Council that Council accept the tender submitted by Bedrule Proprietary Limited, trading as Tobco, of $6,761,516.22, excluding GST, to construct Bakers, Burralong and Laura Creek bridges. B, delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure up to the upper funding limit of $8,611,899.23, excluding GST, which is available for the project from the Council General Funds and via the local government funding streams of Fixing Country Bridges, Bridge Renewal Program and the Roads to Recovery Program. And C, that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract. Item 15.2, heavy patching 2023 contract award. Resolved by Council that Council endorse recommendations to engage Stablecorp Proprietary Limited for delivery of essential heavy patching works to the forecasted value of $683,998, excluding GST. That Council delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure for the project and contractor up to the upper limit of the available budget, and C, Council delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract and to delegate contract and financial management, including requests for variation within Council accordingly. Item 15.3 is the tender recommendation for the Waterfallway guardrail installation and repair contract. Resolved by Council that it accept the submission provided by the Western Safety Barriers Proprietary Limited as tendered for guardrail installation, repair and removal for the period from 27 April 2023 to 30 April 2026, with an option for a 1-year extension. B, that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure for the project and contractor up to the upper limit of the available budget for the current and next 4 financial years, being 2023-24, 2024-2025, 2025 to 2026 and 2026 to 2027, and that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract. Item 15.4, shoulder grading and table drain cleaning contract. Resolved by Council that it endorse recommendations to engage Brycon Civil Proprietary Limited for delivery of roadside shoulder grading and table drain maintenance works to the forecast value of $1,990,000, excluding GST. Brycon Civil Proprietary Limited represent the best technical, financial and value for money recommendation of the Council Evaluation Panel. B, that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure for the project and contractor up to the upper limit of the available budget, and C, that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract. And item 15.5, tender recommendation for the provision of waste and organic collection services. Resolved by Council that Council accept the submission provided by J.R. Richards as tendered for the provision of waste and organic collection services for the Armidale Regional Council for the period 1 February 2024 to 31 January 2032, and with up to 2 1-year extension options until 31 January 2034. The Council delegate authority to the General Manager to approve expenditure for the project for financial year 2023 to 2024 to 2031 to 2032 up to the limit of the approved budget, and C, that Council delegate authority to the General Manager to execute all documents in relation to the contract and to delegate contract and financial management. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Mr General Manager. If there is no further business, I declare the meeting closed at 5:03 p.m. Thank you.